Welcome back to the Tithe Life podcast. You're here with Shay and Jay, where we talk about all things tithing, promoting, encouraging, and uplifting the practice of tithing in your everyday life. So, we are here with episode 10. I can't believe we are 10 episodes in, 2 more episodes until our season finale. But today we are talking about, should tithing be required for membership at the church? Very spicy.
Yeah, definitely a little spicy. But just to give a little more information on the question. So we're not saying should tithing be required to come to church. As a member of the church, should you be required to tithe?
And it's a very thin line because as we were getting prepared for this episode, we were looking at what the research is saying, and very commonly about 20% of the church membership are actually tithers. And this was just a national poll. But what does that say? That only 20% of church membership actually tithe.
It just shows that it's a lot of people within the church and even church members that don't faithfully tithe. And it's also a good amount of people that almost will believe in God, believe in church, everything like that, but just not believe in tithing. But just as we spoke about on a previous episode, why tithing is important and how the church is also a business and needs money to run, and how the membership should also help build the church.
Right. And in talking about all those things, it has been obvious that tithing is very vital to a livelihood of a church. So for churches to require tithing for membership, it would, of course it would support the church, but I feel like it would come with a lot of backlash from people saying, well, why should I have to do this, or why should I give? But that's why we're here too, to try to show what the importance and what the real spiritual blessings are in tithing as well. That it's not just just the church asking for your money. It's for the church to continue to thrive, but also spiritually for you to benefit as well. So making sure that we're really supporting our church. And there are a lot of churches who, if you do not tithe, there are some benefits that you lose out on. Just a few months ago, my husband, his grandmother passed, and she could only be buried at the church because she was a tither. So at that church that she was a part of, if she was not a tither, they would not allow her to be buried there. So that can sometimes be a source of contention for small rural churches as well. Like, so not just membership, but the benefits sometimes that come with tithing. And how would you feel? I've been in this church all my life, but I've never given anything to this church. And now I want, the church to also have the responsibility of burying me. So it can be a lot.
Yeah, so that just brings me to the question of what membership really is. But just staying on the topic of tithing, how different do you think the church would look if they required tithing for membership?
I think a lot of churches would be more vibrant. When we talked about before about church being more modernized and being able to even take electronic payments, would that be something that the church could do if the church could invest more in it? Like, if, what more could the church do even for outreach or for missionary work or for community work if everyone in the church gave?
Yes. And I also think it would look very different and almost had that same idea. That it would look way more vibrant. The church will be able to do a lot more. It will be able to
Mm-hmm.
extend its reach a lot further.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it knows it has this guaranteed almost salary of
Right.
people, of membership, of members who have to faithfully tithe because they are required. And the church would be way more available to spend and just to do things and just to grow, depending on how the church funds are spent, of course.
Right. And even going back to Leviticus, where the law was first given, and as far as tithing being part of the law to the Israelites, Leviticus 27:30 says, and all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord's. It is holy to the Lord. So if it's holy to the Lord, why not give it? Why should there be this, back and forth about doing something that is honorable to God? So, Jay, how many people do you think would stop attending church if tithing was required?
If tithing was required for the church, it would be a lot less people within the church. Me personally, that's what I believe. Just because how people see tithing and how almost the biggest stories we see are churches mismanaging money or churches or pastors with private jets and things like that. We don't see the stories about how a church is spending their money the way they should and doing a bunch of outreach and things like that. That's not the stories that we're gonna see just because that's not drama and so appealing to everybody. We don't want to see things when people are doing everything right. People want to see things when things are going wrong and headlines.
Right. And that's very sad. That's
Mhm.
that's very sad. But just to think about how many places that people have memberships to.
Mhm.
You have a Netflix membership.
Mhm.
You may have a membership to your local library.
Mhm.
You may have a membership to a fraternity or a sorority or a civic organization that you may have a membership with that you don't have a problem paying membership dues to. Why not pay tithes as a member
Mhm.
of the church?
Well, I think that just goes back to what we had talked about before and just how people see tithes in church just so much differently than almost a business and things like that. Which brings me actually to my next question. Should a church run more like a business or should it run more like a country club? And before everybody gets a little bit crazy about that
Yeah,
question,
because I'm
you know,
like, what does
so
that
what I
mean?
mean is what it should run more like. Not should a church just be specifically a business or is a church a country club. That's not what I'm saying. What the question that I'm asking is pretty much as members of a church, it's a lot of members that do things within a church, almost have jobs or roles and things like that, as if you would for a business. So I'm saying, should a church run more like that to where almost all of your members are also employees in a sense to where they're helping the church do different things and they all have um, different duties and tasks to take care of? Or should it run almost more like a country club to where, let's say, tithes are required, you're paying these membership fees, but it's just to be a member and to say I'm a member and just, be within that group of people and just to fellowship with.
And I think we may have to talk about this further because when you talk about, I guess, as far as the business part and employees,
Mm-hmm.
that some churches do have employees,
Yes.
because some of their staff members are employees because of the nature of what they
Mm-hmm.
do and how they have to operate. But I will also say this that I really do like about your church, Chapel Hill, Atlanta, is
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people, and not just at that location, but in other locations for Chapel Hill, people volunteer
Yes.
at the church. Like you guys give your gifts to the church. I know you with being so technologically savvy with audio and
Mm-hmm.
video that now you're on the AV team
Mm-hmm.
at the church. There's also people who, help out with children's church. There are also
Yes.
people who help out with the choir, like, does everybody need to be paid? Am I giving something to the community?
Mhm.
The community being the church, am I edifying the church by also lending my gift and being a support to the church? So when I think about, business, yes, it has, some staff members and it has some volunteers. But then, like you said too, I guess as a country club, like, well, I pay my tithe, and some people may feel that way. I pay my tithe and I'm not going to do anything else.
Mhm.
I'm not going to serve in any other place, where we can serve in multiple ways.
Yes. So pretty much, I feel like you did say, you really just said a lot, and it really didn't even give me my answer.
Not I talked around it.
So yeah, I definitely understand. What I'm saying is, I understand both standpoints of it, of course, but and I'm not saying, like I said, a church should run like a business or it should run like a country club, but just which one should it run more like to you? Not saying that if it's a business, everyone should be paid, or not saying if it's a country club, everybody is just there for the membership amenities, but just saying which one should lean more towards.
And I guess I guess I feel a little stuck. I guess that's why you feel like I talked around, because I guess I feel a little stuck, because at the end of the day, the church is a business, but I don't feel like it technically runs like a business, because if it did, then I could see tithing more so being required. But then as a country club, again, everybody doesn't pay tithes. If everybody paid tithes, and now you have that access, like you said, as far as like a country club with amenities, you have access to see the choir, or you have access to this event. Like, so it's I'm kind of unbalanced about it, or kind of on the fence about it. Not particularly sure.
Well, yeah. Well, definitely. It's an open conversation. You guys tell us in the comment section. How do you think church will be different if tithing was required for a membership, and if you would still go to church if tithing was required?
Amen.
Amen. Well, you've been here with Shay and Jay right here on the Tithe Life podcast. Please do subscribe and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it today, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.